April 15, 2024, 3 p.m. The air in the solitary confinement cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center, MCC, was thick with rage. Sean "Diddy" Combs, his powerful frame now confined to an orange jumpsuit, glared, eyes blazing, at the small, grainy television screen. From it, the face of Donald J. Trump emerged, his gaze resolute, his voice unequivocal. "I am a man of law and order. The allegations against Mr. Combs are very serious. I will not intervene in an ongoing trial. Justice must be allowed to run its course." Every word from Trump was a dagger to Diddy's heart. He'd believed their connection, the hushed conversations, his public endorsements of Trump would ensure a way out. But now, the most powerful man in America had publicly abandoned him, leaving him to sink in the mire of justice. "No, you bastard! You traitor!" Diddy roared, his voice tearing through the cell's silence. He lunged at the metal table, flipping it with insane strength. His fists pounded against the cold concrete wall, blood beginning to seep from his knuckles. "He'll pay! All of them will pay! Trump, Hollywood, everyone!" Diddy's fury wasn't just about a denied pardon. It was the vengeful oath of a betrayed mogul, a promise to rip open the veil of those who had turned their backs on him, starting with Donald Trump. He would show the world the true faces of the hypocrites, those who had used him, then discarded him like an old toy. It was a promise forged in blood. Early 2000s, New York City. Donald J. Trump, with his expanding real estate empire and growing fame from The Apprentice, was always a master of strategic connections. For him, every meeting, every handshake was an investment in power. And Sean "Diddy" Combs, the rising hip-hop king, was an invaluable asset. Diddy, with his audacious style and undeniable talent, had built Bad Boy Records into a formidable music empire. He embodied another version of the American dream, rising from poverty to the pinnacle of wealth, a feat Trump deeply admired. Their first encounter was at a lavish charity gala in Manhattan in 2003. Their eyes met, recognizing kindred spirits. Both men shared an insatiable ambition, a keen business instinct, and an over-the-top confidence that made them stand out. "Diddy's a genius," Trump once said in a 2004 interview. "He knows how to make money, and he knows how to turn it into an empire. A very smart man." Their relationship quickly moved beyond polite compliments. Diddy frequently appeared at Trump's events, from fundraisers to new building launches. Photos of them standing side by side smiling became symbols of the convergence between glamorous entertainment and Trump's ruthless business world. This relationship peaked in 2011, when Trump first considered running for president. Diddy publicly voiced strong support. On October 24, 2011, the New York Times quoted Diddy, "I'm a big fan of Donald Trump. If he runs, I'm voting for him." This statement wasn't just sensational. It showed Trump's influence extended beyond politics into the hearts of popular culture enthusiasts. Trump saw Diddy as a strategic card to play. He wasn't just a hip-hop icon. He was a bridge to a voter demographic Trump wanted to reach. Diddy, in turn, sought the patronage of a powerful mogul who could open new doors and solidify his position among the elite. Their relationship was a clandestine exchange of power, a cold calculation veiled by the pretense of friendship. When Donald Trump formally entered the 2016 presidential race, all his relationships came under scrutiny. His connection with Diddy, once beneficial, now required careful consideration. Diddy, meanwhile, made gestures of support for other candidates. Still, an unspoken respect lingered between the two moguls. After Trump won the presidency, this relationship grew more complicated. Diddy, with his lavish parties and extravagant lifestyle, began to be embroiled in rumors of misconduct. Trump, as president, couldn't allow such rumors to tarnish the White House's image. Their connection gradually cooled, becoming less public. Trump focused on national affairs, while Diddy continued to build his entertainment empire, albeit in the shadows. September 18, 2023. News of Sean Diddy Combs' arrest shocked America, and it was also an alarm bell for Donald Trump. The 45-page indictment, with horrific accusations of racketeering, sex trafficking, and transporting women for prostitution, put Trump in an awkward position. On one hand, Diddy had been a supporter. On the other, the charges were too severe to ignore. Immediately, Trump's advisory team held an emergency meeting at Mar-a-Lago. Sir, Kellyanne Conway, one of Trump's close advisors, stated, "This case is a bomb. If we get involved, it could severely damage your campaign." Other advisors presented recent poll numbers showing voters, especially women and conservative voters, were highly sensitive to issues of sexual misconduct and abuse. Trump sat silently, listening. He knew it. He'd navigated too many political scandals and learned to balance loyalty with self-interest. He gazed out the window, where the bright sun illuminated the manicured lawns. "We can't let this distract public attention from more important issues," Trump said, his eyes sharp. "No official pardon request has been made yet, has it?" "Not yet, sir," another advisor confirmed. "Good," Trump nodded. "If one comes in, we'll consider it carefully." But deep down, his decision was already made. Diddy was no longer an asset, but a liability. December 2, 2023. Diddy's trial began in federal court in New York, quickly becoming a global focal point. Daily news reports flooded in, detailing horrifying testimonies from victims and witnesses. Donald Trump, from a distance, followed closely, not out of concern for Diddy, but for the potential impact of this case on his own image and presidential campaign. The testimonies of Lily on December 15, 2023, and Witness X on January 8, 2024, painted a chilling picture of an empire of abuse. Trump knew the public was outraged, and any move to support Diddy at this time could be perceived as an act against justice and would be fully exploited by his political rivals. However, the testimony of a former security guard on January 25, 2024, sent a ripple through political and elite circles. The mention of A-list Hollywood stars like Naomi Campbell, the famous supermodel known for her captivating beauty and fierce personality, Brad Pitt, the Emmy-winning actor known for his nuanced roles and environmental activism, rumored to have attended Diddy's parties, Jay-Z, the hip-hop titan with millions of fans worldwide, whose alleged messages with Diddy hinted at a mysterious deal involving introducing young talent, and Harvey Weinstein, the powerful film producer already embroiled in numerous sexual misconduct scandals, accused of providing locations for some of Diddy's parties, sparked widespread fear. The elite, those who had once associated with Diddy, began to panic. Trump received discreet calls from powerful figures, individuals desperate to keep their names untarnished. "Mr. President," a major Republican donor called Trump in late January, "the Combs case, it's getting very, very ugly. A lot of people could be implicated. If this blows up, it could affect many of our important relationships." Trump listened, pensive. He understood. These people didn't care about Diddy. They cared about protecting themselves and their spheres of influence. Trump knew he could leverage this situation to his advantage. If Diddy was abandoned, the rest would seek a new protector, and Trump could be that person. He could become the keeper of Hollywood's darkest secrets, a new form of power. In private meetings, Trump often inquired about the hidden information Diddy might possess. Who else does he have dirt on? Trump asked his advisors. Is there anyone he could expose to save himself? It was a game of power chess that Trump had played throughout his career, and this time, the stakes were higher than ever. As Trump entered his 2024 presidential campaign, the question of a Diddy pardon became a bargaining chip. He knew Diddy was desperate for salvation, and he could use that to his advantage, or at least to control what Diddy might reveal. On March 10, 2024, at Mar-a-Lago, Trump made an ambiguous statement about a pardon. "If someone's been treated unfairly, I would look at it, but no official request has come in." This statement wasn't just a signal to Diddy, it was a message to the public. Trump was the only one with the power to change the game, and he would do it his way. No one could interfere. On March 13, 2024, 7 p.m., a discreet call took place. It was arranged by a former Trump aide who had close ties to both parties. Diddy, from his cell, was allowed to speak via phone to a representative of Trump. Mr. Combs is desperate. Diddy's representative whispered through the secure line, he's willing to do anything for Mr. Trump's help. He has valuable information that could shake up both the entertainment world and even politics. From the other end, Trump's deep, authoritative voice resonated, filled with skepticism. I've said it, no official request. And this case, it's getting very, very complicated. I can't be associated with a sex trafficking scandal right before an election. The public will never forgive that. But Mr. Trump, Diddy's representative pleaded, Diddy might have information about others, influential people who could harm your opponents. Imagine which celebrities could be exposed. That would overshadow everything else. There was a prolonged silence. Trump weighed his options. The potential gains were huge, but the risks were equally immense. He couldn't afford to be dragged into a sex-related scandal. He needed to maintain his image as a man of law and order. Finally, Trump's voice came through, cold and definitive. We'll see, but nothing is guaranteed. And I won't do anything that could harm myself. The call ended abruptly, leaving Diddy with a thin, desperate sliver of hope, a hope Trump knew he would soon extinguish. On April 14, 2024, the day before his public statement, Trump held a closed-door meeting with his top advisors at Mar-a-Lago. The meeting took place in the War Room, where every detail was meticulously analyzed. Sir, Kellyanne Conway stated firmly, we cannot pardon Combs. Poll numbers show it would be a disaster. Voters will never forgive it. It would be seen as protecting sexual predators. Trump nodded. I understand it's a tough decision, but I'm a man of law and order, and I have to put the country's interests first. He looked at everyone in the room, his eyes resolute. Tomorrow morning, I'll make the announcement. April 15, 2024, 2:50 p.m. A brief but historic press conference was held at Mar-a-Lago. Donald Trump, his face serious yet confident, stepped before reporters. I want to be clear about the Sean Combs matter, he announced, his voice reverberating through the microphones, broadcast live across major news channels. You know I am a man of law and order, and I believe in justice. The allegations against Mr. Combs are very serious. No official pardon request has been made, and I will not intervene in an ongoing trial. We must let justice run its course. Trump's statement, clear and unequivocal, spread like wildfire. To the public, it was a victory for justice, a testament that no one was above the law, not even the famous and powerful. Political commentators lauded Trump for standing on the right side of things, solidifying his image as a strong and decisive leader. At the exact same time, in his solitary confinement cell at MCC, Diddy was watching the news. As Trump spoke, Diddy's face slowly contorted. From hope to despair, then to absolute rage. "No! You bastard! You traitor!" Diddy roared, throwing his chair at the wall. His scream tore through the silence of the corridor. Diddy's fury wasn't just about a denied pardon. It was the rage of a betrayed mogul, a man who once believed he could control everything, even powerful figures like Trump. He had once championed Trump, endorsed him, and now Trump had turned his back on him and publicly abandoning him before the entire world. "He'll pay," Diddy hissed, his eyes filled with hatred. "All of them will pay. Trump, Hollywood, all of them." Diddy knew their secrets. He had been in those rooms, witnessed those acts, and he had kept the evidence. He wouldn't sink alone. He would drag them all down to hell with him. Immediately, two correctional officers, Big Mike and Rodriguez, rushed to Diddy's cell door. "Combs, calm down, or we'll have to use force." Big Mike, a large man with a hardened face, ordered. Diddy, with bloodshot eyes, stared at them. "You think you're hot? You're just dogs of the system." He suddenly lunged at the cell bars, using all his might to yank them. The metal began to groan and bend. a chilling, creaking sound filling the air. "Stop! He's crazy!" Rodriguez yelled, drawing his baton. Diddy didn't hear. With one final violent pull, he ripped off a section of the metal bar. Wielding the makeshift weapon, he charged at Big Mike. You're part of them too!" Diddy swung the metal bar wildly, aiming for Big Mike's head. Mike managed to dodge, but the bar grazed his shoulder, tearing through his uniform and leaving a deep gash. Rodriguez immediately rushed in, trying to subdue Diddy. A chaotic struggle ensued in the narrow corridor. Diddy's shouts, the pounding footsteps, and the sounds of breaking glass attracted the attention of the entire solitary confinement unit. Other guards rushed to the scene. It took several minutes of wrestling before Diddy was finally completely subdued, injected with a stronger sedative. As he drifted into unconsciousness, a terrifying plan of revenge began to form in Diddy's mind. Trump's decision sparked a massive public reaction. He was lauded as a man of principle, unwavering against crime, even if it involved an old friend. This was the right political decision. Sarah Chen, a former federal prosecutor, commented on CNN on April 16, 2024. Trump showed he put the public's interest above personal ties, solidifying his standing with voters. However, in the shadows, another battle was just beginning. Trump, with his keen political instincts, knew Diddy was a ticking time bomb. He'd abandoned Diddy to protect a campaign, but he also knew Diddy could cause significant damage if he decided to expose everything. The attack on the prison guards only solidified Diddy's dangerousness in his eyes. In the following days, Diddy, in his desperation and rage, began to compile the information he possessed. He recalled every meeting, every party, every secret deal. He remembered conversations with lawyers, promises from celebrities, and all the confidential information they had shared. On April 20th, 2024, an anonymous message was sent to a host of investigative journalists and major media outlets. The message contained nothing but an encrypted email address and a promise of shocking truths about the elite. Diddy's war had begun. Trump's side wasn't idle either. His advisors began investigating the evidence Diddy might hold. "We need to know what he knows," an advisor told Trump. "If he can harm you, we have to stop him." On May 28, 2024, a shocking event occurred. Donald Trump was delivering a campaign speech in Pennsylvania before thousands of enthusiastic supporters. The atmosphere was electrifying. As he spoke about the economy, a loud explosion suddenly erupted from the crowd, followed by screams and chaos. An unidentified object, later identified as a small explosive device, had been thrown towards the stage. It detonated about 15 feet, 4.5 meters from Trump, creating a deafening blast and a thick cloud of white smoke. Trump, thanks to the quick reaction of Secret Service agents, was immediately pulled back. However, shrapnel from the explosion left him with a minor wound on his arm and some superficial scratches on his face. "Mr. President, are you all right?" a Secret Service agent asked, shielding Trump. Trump staggered slightly but quickly regained his composure. He looked at the panicked crowd, his eyes sharp. "I'm fine," he said, his voice firm and resolute. "We will not be intimidated. We will not back down." Police and the FBI immediately sealed off the scene. A large-scale investigation was launched. Although there was no direct evidence linking the attack to Diddy in elite and political circles, a chilling question began to circulate. Is this the beginning of Combs's vow of revenge? The power struggle between Donald Trump and Sean Diddy Combs had entered a new, relentless, and high-stakes phase. On one side stood absolute political power, seeking to consolidate its position. On the other, the fury and thirst for revenge of a discarded mogul, now a very real threat. Who would emerge victorious in this showdown? And what secrets would be exposed, shaking both the entertainment world and American politics, forever reshaping the presidential race? How would you like the story to continue? We can focus on the investigation of the attack, the secrets Diddy is beginning to reveal,